What's up, y'all? This is JP Craddock, licensed therapist and co host of Cognitions Speaking the Unspeakable with JP and Stacy D. I am going to weigh in on this whole MoNique and the bonnet issue. I'm going to weigh in on it here because on the radio show, we are still dealing with depression. We, you know, covered all the symptoms and the diagnosis of depression so that our listeners could kind of assess and diagnose themselves to see if they have depression in the privacy of their own homes. And then you can decide if you want to, share your business with someone else. So that was two shows ago, and then last week we covered multi-generational depression of us as a people. I mention that because when it comes to this MoNique and the bonnet thing, I asked my wife what her thoughts and what her opinions were on it, and her assessment of so many young people coming out in public with the bonnets and the house slippers and everything, she said that that is just another symptom of our depression as a people. Okay. We didn't cover multi-generational depression from that perspective. We talked about the impact of racism upon us as a people. So anyway, long story short, the reason why I'm not going to, myself and Stacy D are not going to have time to cover the question around MoNique and whether or not MoNique needs to shut up and mind her own business about these bonnets is because we're still dealing with depression and how we as a people are affected by depression. Okay. And so, therefore, I need to address the question here on this channel that is for our overflow from the radio show. Okay. So, when I got the question, does MoNique need to shut up and mind her own business on this bonnet issue, I didn't know what it was about. So I had to do some research to figure out like what's going on, MoNique, bonnets, what's going on. And so apparently the background story on this is MoNique was in the airport and she encountered multiple young African American women, young sisters in the airport with their bonnets on and their house slippers. I guess it was some young ladies up in there with pajamas on, like it was a full like sleepover in the airport. And so this weighed heavily on MoNique as an African American woman, and she addressed it. She addressed it on YouTube. Well, apparently there's been a ton of backlash. People are pissed at MoNique for addressing this and saying that MoNique needs to mind her own business. And so when I first heard about it, I didn't know what bonnets were. I was like, bonnets from Little House on the Prairie? Like, where they even find those? Like, bonnets? Well, what I found out is that it's those I have been calling them shower caps. I didn't know that they were called bonnets. I thought a bonnet went out of style with Little House on the Prairie. So anyway, these are basically shower caps. They're a little fancier. They come in multiple colors, but they are shower caps. And so I am familiar with them because I have a couple of clients who they show up for every therapy session wearing a bonnet. I've never seen their hair. For all I know, they got as much hair as I do because I've never seen their hair. On their behalf, because we're not going to come after my people, okay? We ain't coming after my clients. My clients are wonderful, incredible people, okay, with their bonnets on. MoNique was not talking about my people, okay, because they are coming to therapy sessions that are via telehealth, video conferencing. So they are in the comfort of their own home wearing their bonnet. And so it's cool. It's not like they coming up in my office wearing a bonnet. So I just want to say that first for any of my clients who are watching this video. We ain't talking about y'all. So sit back and chill out and relax, okay? But don't come out your house with that bonnet shower cap thing on. Okay, don't do it in your slippers. Okay, so MoNique addressed this in looking at the video. She's getting all this backlash like she has done something horrible. MoNique addressed this so sweetly. She was maternal in how she addressed this. She's talking about, I love you, my sweet babies. It was so, it was actually endearing, the manner in which she addressed this issue, and she expressed a lot of love for these young sisters and just was like, look, I'm not trying to be judgmental, but we need to be careful about how we come out in public. Okay, she never once came across in a manner that was harsh. Okay. And so let's take a look at the question, because I was asked, do you think that MoNique needs to shut up and mind her own business? Shut up and mind her own damn business. Okay. And in thinking about it, it didn't take me long to think about it after watching the video to say, hell no, MoNique does not need to shut up. The reason why she doesn't need to shut up is because she was minding her own business. And here's the reason why I say that. How we live our lives, our individual lives as African Americans, as Black folks in America, it does affect other Black folks in America. Think about it. For MoNique to be in that airport as a Black woman and all these young Black sisters walking around with these bonnets and house slippers on, it became her business, because it's kind of like, remember when you were a child and your mom would say, baby, be careful who you hang out with because you will be judged by the company that you keep. That's what MoNique is talking about, people. That we as African Americans, unfortunately, we are judged as a whole. And so in that moment, because MoNique was in that space and time with these young Black women wearing these bonnets and house slippers, it became her business, because as a Black woman herself, they will all be judged together. That's what made it her business. And so we have to think about it from that perspective. If I'm in the airport and let's say there's some young Black males coming in there and they shoplifting in one of the stores in the airport, let's not pretend like if I come in that same store, that same shop in the airport later that day or the next morning, that I'm not going to be watched a little more closely, because the behavior of the young Black males who were in there before me, who preceded me in that store, have left a mark that is now being applied to me. That's what makes it our business, how we carry ourselves in public. It affects all of us as a people. And I'm going to just tell the truth. I have had therapy sessions with clients who were young Black males and engaging in behaviors that I just said. Because those who know me, I only know how to keep it real. Your behavior is an embarrassment to the race. An embarrassment to the whole race. We as a people are being negatively affected by how you conducting yourself out in this society. Because those whom are racist are looking for every opportunity to say that we are less than them, that we are less functioning than them, that we are less intelligent than them, that we are less dignified than them, that we are less sophisticated than them, that we have less class than them. And that is what MoNique was dealing with in the airport. Hell, she was embarrassed as a Black woman, sharing space with these other young Black women in the airport. When it comes to our attire, I want you all to think about this. Our clothes, our attire, everything we wear is a uniform. And I'm not talking about the uniform that you wear to your job at McDonald's or at Burger King or at UPS or the post office. I'm not talking about that. I'm saying that those are not the only people wearing uniforms. We all are wearing uniforms. When you think about the word uniform, I want you to think in terms of uniformity. There is certain attire that is appropriate for certain situations. Okay, so let's take a look at this, because I really gave this some thought. There's a reason why attorneys do not show up for court wearing their workout clothes, because that's not appropriate attire for the courtroom. There's a reason why teachers do not show up in the classroom wearing their swimsuits, because that's not appropriate attire for the classroom. There's even a standard for our burial. People don't get buried in their house slippers and bonnets for a reason. People get buried dressed to the nines in their Sunday best, okay? Not in their house slippers. And so when it comes to uniformity in how we dress, we're all wearing a uniform. And MoNique's point is what they were wearing was okay, because when it comes to uniformity, folks can uniformly wear that attire in their home. Okay, house slippers are called house slippers. They're not called work slippers. They're not called grocery store slippers. They're not called shopping mall slippers. And they're not called airport slippers. They are called house slippers, because they're supposed to be worn in the damn house. And the bonnet. Y'all know MoNique's right that those bonnets were not made to be worn like all up in the airport. Like, y'all know that. So the bottom line is, no, MoNique does not need to shut up and mind her own business. She was minding her business. And I want all black folks to think about this. When you are out in public, however you conduct yourself, it becomes the business of all other black folks sharing that time and that space, who may it come into that time, or that space rather, at a later date. Okay? We don't even know the lasting effects of our behavior in public. But that is the reason why it becomes all of our business. I would have been embarrassed in the airport too, to see young African American females walk through the airport with like they slippers on. Okay, so that's my point. I support Academy Award winner MoNique, because let's give her proper title too, okay? Because everybody else who wins the Academy, that's attached to their name, but MoNique has the Academy. Everybody acting like, well, okay, she just MoNique and she needs to shut up. No, she doesn't. Okay, and here's the other thing. I want to go back to MoNique was really and truly gentle in her message. It was so loving. She was so sweet in this message. She was sweeter than corn syrup in how she delivered her message. I damn near had diabetes by the time MoNique got through delivering that message to her sweet babies and expressing how much she loves her young African American sisters. It's clear and obvious that she was not intending to offend. And we have to be careful about being offended when someone says something, as opposed to stepping back and looking at it objectively and asking ourselves, are they right or are they wrong? And even if you don't like MoNique, you still need to step back and look at what she said objectively. Was she right or was she wrong? Because there can be a person who I don't like at all, who may say something. I'm still going to step back and say, okay, I don't like this fool at all. But are they making a good point? I have sat in many meetings as a therapist, meetings with children's services and with caseworkers and guardians ad litem and attorneys, and I don't like half them people sometimes. But I still have to give them the benefit of the doubt, like, okay, is what they're saying accurate and correct and true? Our personal feelings have nothing to do with it. The truth is what it is. And that's how I'm challenging everyone to take a look at this. Okay? Y'all act like MoNique said that these young sisters look like a bunch of runaway slaves showing up at the airport like it was a modern day underground railroad or something. She didn't say that. She didn't say that. She called them sweet babies, young babies, sisters. That's what she said. So, can we please cut MoNique some slack? Step back, be mature enough to take a look at what she said for its actual content. Okay, so that's my thoughts on that. Hopefully, I've answered this question thoroughly. Anyone who has any comments, by all means, share your comments with me. As far as everything else concerning the radio show, if you want to catch, the episodes of the radio show covering depression or any of the other diagnoses that we have covered on the show, just do a search for Cognition, Speaking the Unspeakable with JP and Stacy D. They will come up on the KUAW radio station's YouTube channel. They won't come up here. I think we're good for today. I feel like I've properly responded to this. It was kind of weighing on my heart because I don't like for folks to be offended either. Okay, I don't like people coming after MoNique for speaking her truth, but I also don't want people to feel offended. So hopefully this message will help people to not feel so offended by what she's saying and to just step back and take a look at it. Okay, on that note, I think we're good for today. Are we good for today? Yeah, we're good for today. Y'all take care.